that's not your Hmong Ningo. The being the baby for Hmong. That's chỉnh nhớ tao sẽ biết phải chỉnh cho sai của người bữa cùng biết lúc wedding workshop. Nó tại chị có sai我做咗呢種就都係講Lo-Pha Society Lo wedding workshop 咯。像我比如講好俾晒我個俾晒 give back to the community 呢。俾晒個講好我喺教會裏面曾經希望你到路上去打造俾嘅地方拍地方浪教師，就是到做一個。這個應該係比較高嘅計劃，你有一前景性，睇應該係比較耐做包啲內容，嘅比較前如何去個我嘅 workshop 咯，有個剛才我嘅老包高嘅計劃，個對個到俾一個做一個係我需要三方面去做比較高嘅計。做我們we Lo-Pha Society to Minnesota State Chapter to Chairman cũng bây giờ nông y lao nó nói về mua ba thiên thế từ sân chủ về đã đại học của từ PR công trình nó nói về sự hay nó biết từ public relationship từ những đã nó cho sinh đơn đã ba trình giờ của từ vice chair thế bên một bên từ Jerry Jerry phía bên trong số từ thế bên từ fundraiser chair từ ba phó còn là can đã thế bên chính mà bên một bên từ event coordinator in the back too my dad thế bên trong số từ thế thì bên ba trình như ba trình lo thế bây giờ là giờ mong họ luôn tự tin rồi thì cái sai cái culture, cái trong môn này thì bây giờ mình sẽ thấu cái này bây giờ sẽ để mình sẽ có công khai trong nó. So hopefully you guys keep in touch with us because we plan on like a workshop to move at the data. So stay tuned for that. Thì cho nó sẽ introduce both the speaker nó, những điều mà mình tham gia cho ở the king thế, với từ là few chain, xin mong ba người giờ từ mấy con cho bọn gọi có từ lúc xong, cái với từ sinh dưỡng rồi đó, người từ mấy con cho cha chỉ từ xong thế vậy, so lúc học theo cho lúc workshop nó combine to bot the she needs to bot the program g no pian to lo workshop no ya ka in chi ya ka yu za wei de kong ha the she ya ka yu bao min ji za bi ka ka le ki ka to o ka chong ki ka ya yu ta mo be lo chong chong ni te ba de o lo ni no lo za ka lo za ka stage no to lo ba ni na ya la o cùng là ba lý cả nên trong cả thế này cả và thế này đó là qua lớp ở lại trong từ hopefully what you guys take from this is you want to learn more and that you need to attend somebody's wedding then you really kind of know what's happening and you feel more comfortable with what's going on and hopefully this helps inspire everybody So we'll pass more to Nina. Good job.
Thì ở trong trong này thì từ ta trong cái gì chia ra cái như tất cả tất cả cái gì cái bao nhiêu xin gì là rồi để ở trong Lo-Pha Society rồi mọi người muốn nó về thì mọi người nó thế thì lúc này vấn đề thì có bao giờ tạm thời cho thì sẽ lúc nào bây giờ thả cho chị nữa so just kind of give your hands nó tự okay đó là mình cả okay more okay đó okay so we'll kind of mix it in between okay so here today we're going to talk about goals and disclaimers at the workshop now lúc học là chị thì hạt cho thì mục đích là chị ở để bây giờ hỗ trợ tao để như thế này then what to expect from us, and then introduction กับ Bishop Shipo. The bay moon time is how KW chart, how go head the school, the pinchi, or school, okay, so do a little bit KW chart, just tell us what you're thinking, and then we'll jump into the presentation. After the demonstration, we'll do demonstration if we have time and along the way. Okay? Then we'll go back to the KWO chart. We'll go back to the KWO chart, and then we'll do question and answers, and then we'll just final thoughts. JB, I'm just starting the. Yeah, so go flip up.
Yeah. Hello. Hey everybody. So the goal of this workshop is just to provide perspective and insights of the wedding process and family duties from the bride side and the groom side. And then we want to spark a flame inside you, want to learn more about you and ask questions, as much questions as you can. We might not have the best answers, but we'll kind of give you the basic of what's expected. Then we want to prepare you for the future events and awareness of Hmong wedding processes as best practice as we can. And everyone here is a resource and a friend. So like I said, definitely ask questions. We'll definitely be honest and just say, we might not get to this part yet, so definitely. Okay, the disclaimer of this workshop as well is it's not for the purpose of learning to become mitomikona. So our purpose here is not to teach about the Mekong jobs or perform any specific parts of the Hmong wedding. This workshop is just for informational purposes only. The information in this workshop is basically based off knowledge and from our previous and personal experiences. And then information gathered from the elders and or research information obtained from the community. And then what we also learned from the community and what we asked about from seafood. When you go out, you make a lot of friends. So me and Cheng always ask questions as we go as well. And then if there are any elders in here that Cheng seafood học thứ chỉ cho là nè họ giáo dục gì thế học thứ họ hay chỉ cho nó nè họ gì đâu thế có họ bảo thế sẽ được thứ bảo thì biết cái sẽ được ý gì.
Okay, thì cú có tranh đó là mình lo ho pan giờ, thì là cú những cái điểm công đó là như là cái digital giờ đấy cái bảo sự, cái gì bây giờ mấy công nó đào rồi là đó là như là cái điểm thì trình anh biết learn as you go, yeah. Thì cú ấy từ paraprofessional at Hmong Academy, kindergarten to pre. Thế cú ấy từ Notary Public to State of Minnesota.
Cái cú hùa lú lâu, đồng bên mình cả họ bên mong kiểu lử lâu. I'm a youth mentor in religious and culture. Who kept from both religious perspective, from Christianity to the Hmong side of the shamanism. I'm also a volunteer youth teachings in the churches and small charter schools for I'm also a diploma in theology youth ministries at Rockbridge Seminary during the COVID side. And then I spent 4 years practicing Hmong Mekong. I've done about 5 in the past 4 years. Half of that was all self-taught, so Huchi Mutu from the Hmong side. So the goal is to get both sides, the community. Then I'm also a certified ordained minister for modern American weddings, meanings Hmong side, and then you have the Hmong or ordained and get married weddings, and I'm also certified to do both weddings, Hmong and American ways. So. And this is my cousin, King. He was supposed to be one of our facilitators today. King is also Itu Gutinaku. Me and him work together one-on-one. The from the more of the youth side. Then the in the King. But I'm not in Chikong, it's a side. Ching will kind of go from there.
We'll kind of go around with the mics and just kind of introduce a little bit about yourself. Maybe something that you look forward to in this presentation. Can you start over next?
Oh, sure. And whoever's shy, you don't have to talk if you don't want to. So.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Lisa. This is my husband, Peng, and the reason why we're here is because our kids are growing and we would like to learn more knowledge into Hmong culture and the Hmong wedding, and to see what part of that we have to do in this. So, and not just that, but we do have lots of nieces and nephews that are in this area getting married too. So, want to get that information. Anyway.
Yeah, nhớ rung sẽ về open vấn đề tại hành tàu thì that's pretty much it.
Hello everyone, my name is Suki and I'm here to learn more about this because it's for my future and something I've always been interested in.
Hey, my name's Yaru. I came to this workshop today to learn more about the Hmong community and our culture because that's something that I do value in life. And also my sister's getting married soon too, so just kind of want to know, although I'm like, you know, younger and elders are probably not gonna teach you on the spot too, so yeah.
My name is Duaneng, and the reason why I came to this workshop is because I see the beauty in Hmong weddings, and my brother's getting married soon too, and it's for future reference. Yes.
Nhớ trong sân đời, we are Chalo. I also just find that this is a good workshop to gain more knowledge and to build our own perspectives, and that's going to be very helpful.
Nhớ trong sân giàu, I think likely phần đó biết sẽ đây này với một thứ kỳ so của từ khi mà cũng một lúc nung cho cái nhà và của bỏ thâu lò thế nhà thế thì nhà và nhớ được nhà bị số này. And so I'm really looking forward to discuss some of my questions here, and I'm so glad that both of you guys are so diverse in your practice. So I'm looking forward to this event.
Oh.
I'm Yuri. I'm just here to support my husband, but I am interested in hearing these two speak, so look forward to this workshop.
Hi, I am the event chair for Lo-Pha Society. I always thought that this topic is very interesting, and because most times so I don't really see what the in and outs of what's going on usually during the weddings. So I always want to learn about this too, and then thêm một sibling so support.
Hey, nó sẽ đợi. Nó cho nó đến là tua nó chỉ là tua, nó cũng là phát triển sự phá. Nó nói về tua thì in sản tua cỡ, cái của hai là lính này sẽ sản tua cỡ cho, ta li cái mông bây giờ cái mông thì đi nữa cái trong cái cỏ thì nên là cỏ yếu bảo thì còn đây là bây giờ khi là bây giờ mình tự mình nhọn, còn là thì là cho là bây cái ở trong cỏ, đó thì là sự hỗ trợ sẽ là. Hey, nhớ chưa? Cô yêu bỏ lâu nữa. Cô yêu những Lo-Pha Society to fundraiser chair, and yeah, what you're initiative doing, and I feel like this workshop is really beneficial for a lot of people, especially for the younger generation. And you call it có tụ mọi experienceตัวก็ตัวว่าตัวหล่ออย่างนี่more question that you like feel free. They're gonna believe that it's gonna be a really good formational workshop for everybody. An opportunity for you guys to, get some question for them who work in this field for a while. Okay, thank you.
Nhớ trong sân đời, we are Gong Chen Lo. We are Lo-Pha Society to PR chair. Có cái workshop nó mà có chân chánh mà học biểu này nè, ngoài bé hình như chỉ bao ít %, ngoài dạng nào thế. So you don't know until you. Okay. Because the mic does not like me. So I'm just going to speak without the mic because I can speak loud enough that everyone can hear it. But yes, we don't know what we don't know. And it's always important to expose yourselves to certain things like this so you can try to figure out what you don't know. Okay? And that's the only way that you can figure these things out. Being home, it is one of those things that this is critical to our lives as well. Thank you guys all for your valuable time to showing up to today's workshop.
Wow, okay. This workshop, we Jerry's and Para, we have to treasure the way Lo-Pha Society. To share relation to cho nó bé từ speaker nó nói chuyện chỉ là chỉ hơi to và cho cho nên cái lịch cái trái nó nè tôi sẽ cho nó look forward to this workshop so cái cho cái lịch cái trái để trong hôm mà cái trong cái có lại cho nói mỗi chú ít từ lời bây giờ họ nói biết cái lời nói gì bây giờ chỉ bảo họ so I look forward to it.
Yeah, John Shana, Kulumbe Huanza Guyasing Fan, okay. I always like to see bit of Lona when you guys post stuff like this. I try to make time to come and attend. Honoje Guto support me, Guto Kada me. Just saying how or make all the Gutu Kata, Gutu all the you can never learn enough, right? So I like the youth coming out and doing this stuff. So I'm here to absorb, I'm here to learn and contribute as much as I can too. So I think this is beautiful. Thank you.
And I'm interested in this workshop because, like they mentioned, our elders are passing on, and so we're almost to that point where it's going to be our responsibility to do this to not just our kids but our siblings, because we still have younger siblings that are unmarried. And so having workshops like this is very nice for us because they don't teach us this, and our parents don't teach us this. It's like we just see them do it, and so they don't actually come out and teach us. So having workshops like this will give us more details into why things are done and how things are done.
Hi, we are in Tongta. We cho wedding nó chỉ yêu mù rồi thế đó mà rồi yêu mù bỏ chỉ ta cái yêu ít cho step cái đó yêu tôi chỉ bỏ cho thế cái yêu sao tôi cả thì sẽ cho step by step đi trả nhưng chỉ có yêu cái cho rồi nữa đó mà rồi nhiều ở chỗ rồi nhiều thế cái everybody is a little bit different cái yêu sao cả hot difference đó thế có yêu yêu bông ba thế nào sẽ cho yêu nó yêu ni to get ready.
Okay, Ocho ni sure na.
Yeah, cho ni sure wa na the ni trong mai cái đó công tác thảo ni là lo về cái trong trái cái thì mai cái việc cái sản phẩm thế nó bây giờ in có tập nó so cái môi là chủ tạo cho nó để bây giờ post lên YouTube sẽ được thấy bảo tạo thế thì những nơi như cái việc sản phẩm nó mình sẽ sai để mình sẽ tạo ở YouTube tạo thế start bên môi có survey thế blog workshop feel free to fill out the survey and then we'd love to hear your feedback so we can make these workshops better as well. Yeah, thank you. Over to you guys.
Okay, so I just want to piggyback on the like back to lead to brother Tahania. You really initially you to cancel because itu low at the spot. They're not going to have time to teach you right on the spot, right? So this is just more for you. Watch it next, or like what's going on? Which I think okay, then what's halfway, or then what's a partner. So this is the goal, and then again, the disclaimer is it's not going to teach you everything, okay? Because bây giờ thì cho khách có nhiều bao nhiêu cái này thì mình take in day thì còn là chủ yếu more like an overview, like spark your interest thì là nuôi được nông nghiệp lo more in-depth workshop là như thế bao thì you sẽ có học thì mình cả được không được. Okay, so just before we start on your table, in what we call KWL chart, if you can grab it and just fill in what you know and what you want to know. Okay, so we're going to take 2 minutes doing that. Còn mà chủ yếu thì có you unknown thì có bao nhiêu chi số wedding procedure thế đó. Thì W is what do you want to know? What's something that sparks your interest? Okay, so we'll give 2 minutes for that. Because when I give you all these school systems to travel, you know, we should okay? I don't think these are. I have King introduce King to King Ji to got the being on land.
You only got 2 minutes, King. Good on everybody. I'm Bay who King some love. I've been doing Mekong on and off since 2017. First learned under Sivichum Mo so he's no longer with us, but first time learning was under him, under his last session, and then recently again with my Yitzi and them. Yitzi football from my wife's side. He's teaching all my delos, and so I kind of sat in with them to learn again. 2022. So that's kind of a little bit of background I have for Mekong. Been on and off with Lo-Pha Society for a little while too. My dad served on Lo-Pha local back in around 94, 96, and then again in 2008 with Lo-Pha National under Dufong's term. So it's kind of my background.
Okay, you have it share with each other, but we'll skip that part. But if you can kind of take your sticky notepads and just write 1 or 2 things of your K and your W, and we're going to stick it by the K. Just write maybe 1 thing for each. What do you know? Take 1 and stick it over by the K. 1 of your wonder and stick it over here by the wonder. Okay. Oh shit, that was me. Yeah. Oh, it's okay. We're going to skip the introduction part. Yeah, on the sticky notepad, just pick 1 of your know, what do you want to know. If you have more share, you will kind of go over those. Yeah, which is kind of okay. We want to kind of use it's pretty self-explanatory too. Right now we're not going too deep into it. It's just more of hitting the surface of what we'll go in terms of like the big table. Maybe you tap to the other to judge it. So this is more interactive. Kind of quick overview, okay? So who are the people that got your need for or you basically the Mekong law expectation for the bride. What's the bride supposed to know, and what is the groom supposed to prepare, and what he's supposed to know. And then what do they need to know, what do they need to prep,
and so we're going to move forward to after Chinghande, and it's what's the process at the groom's house, and then what's the process at the bride's house, what's the process after the wedding at the groom's side, and then what's the process after the wedding at the bride's house. So it's kind of based on vice versa, both. So before I start, I just want to say that when I always look at Hmong wedding as in like I'm going to court, because you have a defendant, you have a lawyer, you have this side, you have a lawyer. That's how I look at it. You want the two lawyers to talk to each other. So that's how I look at it. Hmong weddings, you ought to lawyer. They speak about the wedding, they talk about everything. As we go on forward, this is just what is expected for certain Tunsai. So on the groom's side, expectation of what the groom should know is the marital history of your potential bride. Determines the type of Hmong wedding ceremony that we conducted, and I want to be diverse about that, because as the new generation, Hmong is not going to marry Hmong all the time. So you're going to marry other diversity. So know your boyfriend, know your girlfriend. They may not be Hmong. That's the first start. And the groom, you should know this information and be able to convey this information back to the groom's parents and clan. We don't want to make it complicated. Types of Hmong wedding ceremony based on the bride's marital history. I'm gonna have a king take over this one.
So, on the first one it says Chong Tu Bo Tu Ka. It's our most common chongs that we have nowadays. We have the then they go to consult with their parents. So nowadays I've seen it where the dulwa, they will even go in court, the parents as well, and ask for the daughter's hand in marriage, and then proceed with doing the process of but before that, there was a lot of runaway brides, and so there would be no consulting if to entirely her shinyo, but then the diety approved but either way, it's still the same process. Nothing really changes. There's always the occasion of you hear about Nyakapa all the time, and that's what the Chongzhou is. It's when they set a time for you to go meet to do the wedding process, and Chongzhou, it's a little different. You do bring the Netanjo, but then she stays in the car. She doesn't come in the house with you. And everything is about until so it's a little more complicated, a little more expensive, because essentially it's more of where they get the term of buying your bride, because they have to kind of buy the family. And the process for doing that kind of wedding, from a lot of means, they have a lot of notoriety, so then they choose to have that kind of a wedding. But weddings in general they're very costly no matter which side you're from, the groom's side, the bride's side. You think that you might be spending anywhere from the immigrant hall is going to be like $7,500, and then on your side you still have to do your hupli when you take her home, and hupli betaki, you're spending another $2-3 grand. In total, you're spending about 10 grand on your side. But if you look at it from the bride's side and all the stuff that in the end, if you're sending off your daughter for a marriage, you don't want to send her off to live a life where she starts nothing. So
you always want to give her a lot more. And in the end, if you actually end up spending more at the wedding on your side than the groom does for his. So that's kind of the two weddings we'll see here in America in the modern day. And even in Thailand, and then it's the tuning really went to bonjour and you got the amu yotzi with the chong it's almost like but they got it's kind of in the same process as sort of like you to general depending on so that you go to as you have to go to their netayetsi and the kamu work more the more you take at the sheet. If you guys look up Goising Ponda or Chongko, they have all the listed amounts of money for and everything in there, and then it's less for Ponjo mainly because they do more so it's kind of in a bad sense they devalue the person's value a little bit because she's already been through it once, but in the end the process it's relatively the same. They still want everyone to kind of have link shot in the end. So
pass back to you.
So here king idea. So one day go your America to Lungo, okay America to one for the group. They go yoga to Lungo, and they go to Paul New Tete. They had their new you're linked to mirror status to your family or Shania Lungo Sul Pondo Ponjua. Then it determines if you're gonna take either route A or route B, right? On the bottom half there. Route A is when to look out to launch inform nobody. That one is the cheaper way. Okay, so you don't this is like the informal way of kind of initiating your wedding. So B is when it's a formal way to do it, where that's when you negotiate, your two mediators, your two lawyers talk, right? And then they negotiate with both family agree. That's when the king had that more is more expensive. So there's usually only two options of how you're going to get started, and so that depends. And that's why as a groom you want to know then they will determine which route is the best route to take. Okay. Oh, and then disclaimer, not every wedding is the same. Có mỗi lúc đó nó hỗ trợ cái rồi nó tuân sai lý kinh hành được cần đến tia bachelor được cần đến tia PhD, her value is higher than ít lần go in the high school, for example. Okay. And then for the bride, what should you know? Okay, so when the bride determines that she's ready to get married and she decided that which is a cheaper route, then she must. It's almost like a stereotypical or belief kind of thing where you but she's supposed to kind of bring the bare minimum, which is usually just whatever she has on her. For example, right? So you don't really have anything on there, and this typically applies to itu longo. Okay. Can you have anything to add on there? Of why itu longo ni ho mua trong cả cũng longo nè. Cái longo sẽ có bộ mua chuyên dịch mà. No.
All right, so the parents, they're seen the what to prepare when the son brings the girlfriend home, what to expect. They one day as of culture-wise, a lot of different family has different religious factor in their family. Basically, is to ward off any evil spirits. Also, another one is basically spiritually formality to introduce your bride to the home. Or your son brings the girl home, and then it's kind of like she's officially your wife. This one is a little debatable because I also work with a lot of teenagers who are in the Christianity side where they're not fully Christians, but like Thai law, and then the parents ask if there's no answer for that. It's personal, it's your life, it's your religion, it's what you believe. If you believe that the culture makes you feel like like I said, this new generation is a lot of changes, but whatever you believe in your family, so this is a debatable question where we're not going to talk about. We don't want to dig deep into that. I just want to make you guys feel of what your belief is when you take your new bride home for your son. Can't go cover off, he saw. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be back off of what the previous slide was a little bit to tie it into Hafi Saw. So then, back in the old days, wares is sewn by the mother. So Shitting is going to be literally the one that was on her head. That's why when you go to Saw, you have to bring Shitting as proof that we took your daughter. So the Saw that all right? So they always present the so that's kind of where that comes from in the Tongsal process. You typically bring home the bride and then you ask her, because nowadays everyone has a phone, so who's a so you could pick on the company to get the yellow of that to I got to eat the people another shala. The home the Kitaman, which is on top, don't I go to Nicotina. That's your being look at it to law to Zinza, don't yonder, a katana, lovely down season. So that's kind of why we have mediators for the weddings as strong call. We have Mekongs for funerals, there's Kasu talking between everyone's representative. And if you look at like for Kasus, they have Kasus are working for the family, and then you have Vicky for all of those Gocha, everybody, they have their own mediators to talk between themselves so that those people who are certified to speak the language of the process, do it correctly, and so there's no share itu from one another. But in the Tongsal process, usually you guys come in pairs. You have to the first thing you do is move move on it, but see, think of no one like that. You go to inside more porsche. You you move everybody, everyone in the room gets Lo-Ying, and Lo-Ying used to be a commodity where back in the days everybody Lo-Ying. So then it was a trade product. So Lo-Ying back then, Lo-Ying songs that they pinch a little bit and give it to everyone. Nowadays, Lo-Ying, so then everyone just gets two, because it's in weddings we want it to be in pairs or even numbers, because we want it to shitso. So and then everyone in the room also gets a little bit of cash for being there to bear witness to the process. And then you come back to the elder in the room that you kind of select yourself, assuming that's the parents or one of the Zilaotzingzos or whoever they designated as their Nitsi Lachonako. So then you come in the Lachon Nunishina Koto Petito Yetanin the Hata Ikuto the Yatun died in Mri, but they had Dunayatu Salut Kungsal. And then you go to him, one back time around for everyone there, everyone from Nietzi, Boya, Bakayakong, and then at the very last thing you add in the Nietzi, La Tsalusal. And then the Kamono you build through everything. Some people had the Zashiting, you keep people no day Kuruni, people, okay, Pedro, see the she, bring on a baker, bring on a let the Chizakila, the hall. You kill you tell, Chikila you tell, there's a chiki, at the Chitzel, and Molly had there, baker, the secret is painted, Chizaki, he get the Chizak on the set. But they always keep both sides, you bought it, eating more, let's see, and they come later on, yeah, and then there's a small portion of it in there where come on, shy the high final, which is for the guests who have come, but everybody getting a little bit. So come on, they had but then some people say that and then sometimes on top of that, let's check on top, yeah, and then afterwards, you're enjoying to have what time, and then from there, you just bring the bride back home, and then 3 days later,
so just to backfill of Kane, as a groom parent, all you really told your son brings the girl home, and then basically all you're doing is go and tell just find two elders that Bota or Tamu Fisaw on your dialogue, and then they'll kind of communicate back with you as a parent, just to let you know the Buto Zailu Lu Sonda.
if let's say then they approve that, okay, great, yeah, you let us know that you took our daughter home, and we approve that, and we know that she's safe, she's at your son's house, she's at your house, and then we move forward to the next step. So after 3 days, Bubetaki Hanama was back in the old days. Like I said, this generation in America is different now. The groom's parents must prepare hopli kite. That's just basically calling your relatives, letting them know that, hey, my son brought a girl home. We're planning to get married. And it doesn't have to be 3 days, but everyone has jobs now. And from what I've seen, it's just sometimes weeks or months before Lamaoha hopli kite. Just to get themselves ready to ba chialo or who takatito nyot katinyo kedelo litaje you who to just plan a date, call your relatives, let them know, celebrate that your son has brought a girl home, keep day, and then just kind of do the tradition from that time of the appointed Hokipik day.
Okay, so we're just gonna do a quick knowledge check and question. So you kind of just answer by raising your hand. But what does a son have to know about his girlfriend if he wants to marry her? Anybody have any thoughts? I'm asking the crowd now, so you guys can kind of. So what is the if you're a boyfriend, what do you need to know about your girlfriend before you want to marry her? Her parents' name, number one, yes. Because sometimes your parents might be friends. I don't know. Her parents' name. How many people do you need to go fisal or tongsal? Just put a finger up. 1, 2. Good, 2. And then, can a girlfriend go back to her house to grab her stuff once she decided that she wants to go and marry her boyfriend? Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. Can she go back and grab all her stuff? Yeah, sometimes you like this one. Yeah, the lot of you kind of like a bad omen. You don't want to do it, right? You got to decide that move like. Sometimes he just takes you. He don't even talk to his parents. So the culture is just a bad omen. So you just yes, you're allowed to go back into your home. Yes, Donze?
Yeah, I just want to add. I think because some of the young guys right now, right?
Yep.
And the young kids, they take words literally.
Yep.
So it's not an actual egg.
Yeah, it's not an egg.
Don't give an actual egg to your parents. That's money.
Yeah, that's money. Thank you for that.
It took me a while to understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, they use a lot of what do you call that?
Metaphors.
Yeah, metaphor. Yeah.
I was just curious. On the time lên từ là cái tao rất là
Anybody can do it.
đó like cho các chuyên môn này nó chỉ là các cháu cứ lo cháu đó lo yên trì xử lý nó
cái xử lý xử lý được đọc rõ của mình ha.
Còn như lượng nó chỉ có lượng K là cái đặc
Hey, about for the time that you should tell me, is there like a, you know how like hopefully my more hoping your shit so hoping some channel is it like that too? You do not you pick your just you know.
I mean, there's resources you can find nowadays.
Yeah, you search a law, and I'm just curious.
Yeah. There's like a certain rotation too.
Oh, okay.
Like you turn like clockwise, and you bless, you turn counterclockwise. So there's certain ways to do it. So there's YouTube videos or this to spark your interest that you need you go with low, and then a lot of time it is just
And like I said, it's like the new generation. They call he's gonna let you know that, hey, I'm bringing my girlfriend home. Call someone right away. Say, hey, can you come for my son? You can do that as well.
Because not everyone raises chickens at home.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have a question. So, I don't know if we have time to dive into this, but going back to what you said about tying the knot, the 2 knots. So is that like a generational thing that we're trying to change now too, to not do the tying anymore, or I guess like could that be seen as like disrespecting Italian side, or yeah?
So me personally, I want to make this easy for you to understand that you want as a parent, you trust God to make on. So God to make on the or the 2 person that you have to find to go help you.
they're the one who should basically know. If you're a young parent like me and I don't know what I'm doing, so that basically your goal is to find at least 2 people or also make one and they can go do all that for you basically.
And a lot of it is como visa ke you tell you see cái giờ thì you see cái you keep mà giờ check cái cái sau khi tốt sao cái chuyện mà nó sao nó cái gì and then during the wedding process to other mấy con là thả lúc chủ mình đó they ask about lúc sao ha hay để other lúc sao rồi how about gì不错
This is just me adding on. Auto Fisaw, Auto Mekong, they're 2 different people.
Yeah.
So just don't get messed up, in case you're like, oh, Auto Fisaw, you're Auto Mekong, it's not, they're 2 different people.
Yeah.
Are there times where they
Yeah, only the Fisaw, how much you get Auto Fisaw have to bring the money?
I don't have off the top of my head, but at least
Yeah. Usually each city has a key mookie, each one of the
yeah, but then you want those separately.
Yeah.
I think it's no less than like $500.
Yeah, $500 with.
And you always bring money in with you.
Yeah, carton of cigarettes or cigarettes as well.
Yeah. It's better to have a little more than what you need in case usually you touch it so yeah. But then during the wedding process, they always ask, yeah, and then you respond back. Yeah, you always want to protect yourself and the family that you're representing. So they always say that lazy, and then they always add on like that. Nó có những gì ở tại bên ngoài từng tôi nói là tôi cho tôi này tôi sinh hoạt trong bảo vệ để nó tôi chỉ số là cái cái sao máu cái dài so they always put themselves like that on another line saying next time if we have someone take your daughter and they didn't do it complete, don't hold it against us either.
And then just to make this easier as well, like I know there's a lot of families where and then I know that 18 Clan in Minnesota also has a resource center where you can call them. They will actually find you people to help you run your weddings, and they can actually oppose you to Mekong to help you and your family.
Well, I just have a comment. It's just one of those things that, right, as everything gets lost in terms of translation and how we translate things from English and back and forth. I know that you guys used the terminology earlier of like bride's value, right? But it's one of those things that we need to step away from that in terms of terminology, because it's not a value on the person, right? And it's just a dowry, so it's just one of those things to show that you as a groom, you're committed to that interaction. Yes, the parents put forth a lot of investment in terms of certain children where they either help the child go through school or help the child reach certain goals, and it's just one of those things to show that you're committed, right? But it's not the value on the person, because the person, we're not buying the person,
Right.
we're not buying the slave. It's not. Like the money isn't to pay for a head, right? Where we often have that title, what's called lady with the hall,
Yeah,
right? Right? So it's one of those things we need to change up as a overall people, because it gets literally translated and then gets misinterpreted.
Right.
We need to fix that.
And I want to piggy off of that, sorry.
Yeah,
real
no
quick. It's never get out, it's not. It's just that you literally can't really translate that into the English language.
Right.
But if you go way back to like the older days, it's which because that's kind of like your parents when. Sorry, interrupting, but when the groom come and pay, it's more of them kind of respecting and kind of committing that here's thank you for raising my wife, my future wife, to who she is today. Because as women without our parents, or land, and without your parents, you're pretty much now who you are today. So it's technically, if you come out the room maintained is cleaning it's not the bride price, it's not the door price, it's not like the guitar hall. So it's just, you can't translate that into nikah. So but that's the real word that they usually use.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so basically we about 45 to an hour left, so we're gonna try to push it through. So parents of the groom, okay, what do you prepare? Okay, you typically roughly about 10K. Okay, even if you kind of go a little bit more on the breakdown. This usually covers food, drinks, maybe all the financial stuff. Okay, and then food preparation, your menu, and then and then again
Okay, so then the roles for the parents, roles meaning so you have to find first the main guy and then as partners, basically mediators for the groom. I would put have trust because, like I said earlier, just have trust in whatever you don't know, ask them. They are trained, they're certified for a reason, they know the culture. And then Itu Pila, that's kind of the best man, and your son can make that choice to find who in the Hmong community, Hmong culture. Itu Nyatang Joa, that's the green lady. The purpose is basically just to watch over the bride, make sure, like her ex-boyfriend showed up and she's getting married. Basically, just kind of watch over her. Itu Nyatzi Lachung Lako, that's pretty much the witness and to accept conditions on the behalf of parents. That's an elder, like an uncle or a grandpa. That could be Itu Nyatzi Lachung Lako. It may include your clan leader, an older brother. Just basically witness and to accept conditions on behalf of your parents. And like I said, some families now even assign, like you can have a DD because you know that a lot of alcohol are being involved in Hmong weddings and cultures. So you can actually assign a DD as well to be your designated driver. Parents of the bride, what to prepare. This is the bride side now, as your daughter is getting married and they already let you know, they set the date, and you're preparing yourself for this big wedding. So first off, money and kompitua. That's you call your relatives, everybody bring gifts. Money for the mikong to use during the wedding. Food preparation, basically up to you. No peppers. Venue of where Hmong wedding will take place. Usually it's at home. If you are a different religions, it would be at like a church or a venue. And then basically you find all the permanent roles for the Hmong wedding, including like cooks to help with the day. And then then the type of roles that the parent of the bride needs to find is like I said earlier, two lawyers you find, and if you don't have that, there's resources as well. That's the first cousin from the dad's side, sister's son, and then the cousin's brother from the dad's brother's son. Does that kind of make sense? And then you want to go more in depth with that? Is this more that
Every
witness?
family kind of has a designated person that you go to. Sometimes to
Sometimes to okay. But sometimes they generally lots of in more to let's see, and then they have one to so they probably have 2 or 3 different leaders in their families. So they always ask for both of them. For the Gatsing, Dalo Gatsing, and Lieutenant Bo, and Chongko and Dalzai Hungry who Yan Yan is because like it's usually Gatsing because like you got Gatsi, Lieutenant Chimo can Gatsi like Chua since the Lachak Atu and Saiwa Bauka, more learning, basic. And then same thing with Lieutenant Bo. This cycle or you have to bring a gift, and that's the reason for you do more, and then on top of that present a gift for her during the wedding. But in Chongka, the had the so then that pays for the 4 people to come do their role to watch over the bride during the wedding.
And then lastly, just a designated person, doesn't matter who, someone you trust to hold all the money gift, basically cash. And then that person has to just write down their names, who was giving that cash or how much they basically gift for the wedding.
Then for the groom, okay, the day of the wedding, what must be prepared? So what do you expect for that day? Yeah, you might ask that question. So this is the time where they will give that's when the there's different ways to tie. So she just trust them. You just trust. You just trust your Mekong. They'll do it. The groom's parent must prepare Luca. Okay, so we'll do a little activity on this later. So Luca, what do you need to put in there? Okay, there's a few key things. These are all the key things that you have to have in there. Luca itself, the patent, the animal typically is 8. They have different roles, okay? And then typically a 40-ounce beer in there, but there's not even and then plastic shot glass, and then a carton of cigarette. You got later on. The groom's parent must also prepare it's a strap to okay? And then as a make only, you have to double check that because they are if you are the groom side, you can get in trouble too. Like the Mekong can get in trouble too, and trouble just means more money out of your pocket. Okay? Alright, so again, just look pa dia j to dia I beer chocolate cups and then cigarettes, okay?
All right, so we come to the the additional fees in Hmong wedding, and we got this from the Hmong Sing Call page, the most recent one. And then why do we say 10,000? Like Uncle Hepata, which high of value. No one is buying anybody. So this is the culture. This is the number they got as 18 clans for the culture weddings. The groom usually bring about 6,000 to 7,000 to the table. It's contingent on the daughter's education and status, meaning you brought 10,000. Basically, as the bride's parents, you can't enforce anything more. Basically, if you do want to enforce more, that would be basically, from what I was learned or taught, has to be like a gift. Maybe you bought her a $20,000 car right? That doesn't include into this factor of the cái của sinh á. Chỉ họ để có tụi sai cần tới the master my daughter's worth this much, because like we said earlier, it's not a value. We're just going right off the numbers of the culture, what they set. You can definitely give her as much money as you want, but that's going to be considered a gift, basically. Anything you want to add?
Okay. And the day of the wedding, okay, so the bride, what must you prepare? Okay, if they haven't done so already, cái ít xin chỉ mà liệu cũng muốn tu bỏ rồi, có muốn cho tu vào xa tu muốn cho tu sai xa này, and then tu nhận gì tu chỉ tao để tu trong thảo mình không được gì. Thì thế mà you're supposed to do that way ahead of time. But tu cho nhận gì này gì, if it's a crunch, so the chỉ tao để chỉ tao tu trong thảo mình không thế, and then obviously you have to prepare a lot of drinks, usually alcohol and soft drinks. And then you có chuyện đó ba chai thế, thì thằng tôi cho nó thả bị gì ta thì có chuyện đó ba chai ta, and then có mà ba chai ta thì có mà ba lunch, which is the bigger one. That usually includes butchering. You can mua cho đi to ba câu hơn nữa thế, nhưng mà most of the day is going to be a lot of cooking. Okay, cho mình không nói lấy mua là hơn nữa, kia là hơn nữa thì mà có những gì, thế nên thì there's a lot of running around, prepping and getting stuff ready. Thì thằng nó món ta thì cái mua thì tổng mua cho cái tít này lấy tôi nhỏ học chế tỏ tụ bảo thế sát tôi chỉ là mà đi grid cho nên đợi chỉ là một cái bao thì có lúc trong không đợi có một cái tít trong tôi rộng đó trong tỏ ấy. Oh yeah, nó mới more like the intro đó tôi chắc cái ông chế gì. Do you guys want to do a little break, or do you guys want to push through? I'm asking you, okay, push it through, or you want a quick bathroom break, water break? Push through?
Any knowledge checking questions? We'll try to make it 5 minutes. Or should we skip? Okay, so on your paper, you'll see Luca. Okay, this is just a quick activity, brain break activity. Luca, now I want you guys to write answer below 1, 2, 3 through 9. What is supposed to go inside Luca? Is it plate, spoon, salt, oil, knives, boiled chicken, 40-ounce beer, plastic cup, blanket, umbrella, current cigarettes? So what's supposed to go in there? You can just draw a line from ABC to 1, 2, 3, or they don't have to be in specific order. Just kind of, there's a few in there that's not supposed to be in Luca.
No, it's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. We'll do 2 people.
I kind of over-explained it a little.
It's okay. Perfect. Yeah, it's good. It's always to know more than less.
Hey guys,
Kind of keep it.
do you guys know why we need all these stuff in Luca?
So we were trying to keep this really basic because it can go very, very long. But we can. No, we can make it quick. I mean,
I guess I'd never actually thought about why we needed to bring certain sets, but I know that when you bring a certain amount, the bride has returned double. So I thought you got Lo-Pha, and then when they come back, they give you 8 in return. I know that they call it now because you knew that then I don't know, one die, and then the time you on that day you should okay to boy to cáiตัวrồi này gì you lúc từ cái một lúc chỉ có hồi này gì đã tôi hút đi kiểu là chỉ đã chỉ cái thế tự nhiên nên tôi hút đi nó bắt đầu mình. So that's kind of the purpose of that part of it. As far as the rest of the stuff, I mean, I could dig up if anyone really wants to follow up. I can find out for you guys.
Basically, the extra chickens are to where, you know, as a bride, you're gonna go married, and the chickens, ultimately going, they're gonna make stops. So basically, the culture is to make a stop.
You would have 5 chickens total.
5 chickens total.
After time you're not sure. After time after
khai bể chết, which is thổ cái mấy công là sẽ là cái sao trong anh lúc chúng they eat that amongst themselves. It's the parents' gift to the Mekongs, saying we don't have anything for you, but here's a chicken for your jobs. And then they also give you money on a shishi process along with that as kind of a tip for doing their job for them. And then the last chicken is the hai mu pa, which is the chicken that you give to the elders. And your lao na English, so you have the you see none that you chmo you see mà đi mua nó bằng nông đâu này giờ không. But that process, you can't call more than 2 generations. So he clearly called his grandfather, which is your great-grandfather. If your grandfather is still alive, you can call up to your great-great-grandfather to come back to you. That I haven't done before, so I don't have the answer off the top of my head.
Giờ thì nếu mà hay được thì mà giờ bị chụp bót thì yêu hoa sẽ tông thì hay là từ từ mà yêu chụp đó các trẻ không có biết cho mà đi họ có đó là là hồi đó không thôi thảo rồi đó sẽ sai trái có thể là thôi cho vấn đề không có bị cái cái mà là chú trọng để các bạn lý giải được mình chứ thì các bạn lý giải các bạn thảo phần đó là thôi
chẳng nào nó có thể phước trợ điện thoại.
Okay, so we're going to move along here. So just kind of keep it brief and simple. So what happens during the wedding, right? They get greeted at the front door. Depending on when you get there, either they close the door on you or they open it freely for you, right? And then if they close the door on you, there's a long process of negotiating songs back and forth, like just to confirm that you're there for the wedding. And that also involves a lot of drinking right up front there too. Obviously, Jamaican greet the elders. Greet the elders. Do some bowings at the front door just to kind of say that they respect the parents and they're there for the wedding. Then Jamaican introduce to each other, and then that's when the Jamaican can take over. Okay, they'll take over, they'll do the process, then and then after that's done, not breakfast. That's again when as a bride family parent, they're going to eat chai on day, they're going to eat breakfast and then they will start the negotiation table. Once they're done with the negotiation table, which is talking about maybe like any family issues, they want to resolve everything at that small table. Okay, so they want to get all that cleared. Lunch. And the lunch is when if they make a speech, sometimes if you're a parent of the bride, you have to kind of give a little bit of speech too. So you just kind of be mentally prepared for that. Once is where pretty much all the drinking happens and all the formality stuff cái sát tú này thì you just have to trust your Mekong, okay? Because Mekong hay là you got to wait there, because you don't know what's going to happen. And so, yeah, just.
Okay, this is the thổ lư hải nhiệt ta chỉ lư hải lư Jalo, and then khả năng mà you mua to nhà lư chỉ lư, and then basically like Cheng said, we just listened to the Mekong because as I was a young adult and I didn't know where to sit. Right? I got married when I was 15 as well, so I was scared, I was nervous. So cũng không có Mekong nữa. But this is the actual table. Lúc trong chung mong đỡ, mong lên mà nếu lúc thì chỉ nói chung mong đỡ. So then, from the groom side and the bride side, all tổ Mekong from each side, each to across from each other, tổ thế tổ lử. And then the Mekong will kind of put you, if they're the groom, on one end here, to time mà chỉ rõ. Then thế thổ lỡ mỗi tuần đó vào cho tuần number to pila. To phổ thông thì bây giờ phổ thông là để lâu rồi rồi, để sát tí mà nhận gì từ u rồi, được nhận sát từ nhà sát trên nhận gì to dài thì nhận gì to tu chỉ lo chính giờ đã lâu thế nụ tị. I'm not gonna go too much in here because cái Mekong will kind of set you where you need to sit as a young teenager if you're getting married in your 20s and all that. And then as a parent, you just trust cái Mekong that they're doing fine. They got the culture down, they got the process down, basically.
Okay, this is the part where everybody wonders, why is it taking so long, right? Why is it taking forever for a wedding to be done with, right? So, it's just a brief breakdown of what's happening at the big table. The whole process, you take the day, depending on to make a shake move back and forth in days, okay? So, the thing the look down the ít trong giấy trong tiền tờ khả năng cũng chia cover tăng thọ thế đó chỉ mà trying to keep it general. So number one, they always have to kind of set rules for the table, right? Like keto don't need a seizure, so don't idea. There's going to be a lot of drinking. Make sure you have a designated driver. Don't drink and drive. So don't need jorita. So okay, so those are like house rules or on the table. Then there's going to be multiple drinks that runs around the whole table. Okay, usually but depending on the bride's family, they have their own toast too. Okay, so their toast comes around too, and then speeches to the newlywed. Okay, this part is where it's kind of like they give you teachings of how to live a good life. Okay, what to expect as itunya. What can the son do? How can they be a good husband to their wife? How can she be a good wife to her husband? Okay, and then again, lots of bowing. And you're gonna go marry your girlfriend. Make sure you're in shape. There's gonna be a lot of bowing. So you bow for just to show respect. Okay, to all. I notice it's only to the guys or boys. Okay, basically bow for the girls now. But you bow to all her brothers, all her uncles. If they really want to test you, whether it is okay, you bow to every individual person. They just group everybody together. They just say everybody in Laos, right? Instead of going Uncle Two, son Jer, Uncle Two, son Lee. Individual. So there's a lot of bowing. Which is gifts. Okay, gifts from the whole relatives, where everybody that's there, friends and family who comes to the wedding, that's when they present the gifts to you. That's when they call the newlyweds over. He'll read the itemized list. Hey, this person give this much, this person give this much. If they don't have time, then they just kind of read what the parents give. And then they just kind of summarize the whole. They just kind of tell you the total. Then they'll usually give that to the elder, but they'll give it to the Mekong and the Mekong will hand it over. Okay. After that, just to keep it brief and short, what's going on at the big table? To vow, or kind of like in a world now, it's like kind of like an initiation, right? You initiate the, hey, now you're my brother-in-law now we're family, you know, it's good to have you in the family, let's have a drink, like that. So it's like an initiation to Shenka to, if you're the brother of the bride, Shenka to your yi, or kaya uncle, Shenka to Val, or something like that. And then after that, a long time of that, the Maria will have closure, but it's a long process too. But after that, the Maria close out, the Maria Muche. It takes a much longer time. So I know one of your wonder question is, are there things that we can adjust? So we'll adjust from 2-day wedding to now only 1-day wedding. So basically, we're adapting, we're cutting out what's unnecessary, and we're keeping only what's necessary.
I'm going to add to the number 7, Jenga. Just a quick brief talk. When you're the son and you're going to go to your new when you go to the wedding, so you have a case of 24. When you get there, you do all your process. He's going to tell you, hey, take this beer and go go greet everyone, go greet your wife's family. That number 7 is really harsh. It doesn't mean that you're hardcore, drink as much as you can, because when it comes to that number 7, you're going to be very, very drunk. You might puke. So basically, commit yourself to a certain alcohol level limitations. Because when you go greet your wife's family with those case of beers, I know drinking is heavily in the Hmong community, but just kind of know your limitations, because when you know that you get on the table, there's going to be more drinking.
I have a question, if we have time for it, but so I've seen like a lot of drinks being passed back, you know, to like friends or whoever's there to help you. At what part would you guys say maybe this is like really, you know, up to like each person is different, right? Everyone has a different stance on this, but what part would you like not pass back and like pass back, right? That's
So,
like, yeah.
During Lutyo Bishan, this is kind of the socializing portion of the table where they allow everyone to Often but it has to go.
Often they go notify and they can either deny or accept. So if you bring too big of a cup and they feel it's not right for the groom, they're going to deny it. And that was how the gulab would make. So it has to be the only time where you see a non-pair matching for drinking. They do the small cup and the big cup. And it's a double header because and then pila between Numba and Nova, and then those ones, because they got a but afterwards, so the how get make it, and then the channel which you again it's the door you side out. You learn more how to do a lot, you do a lot to make it. Make a lot, but that's kind of when you see them passing the drinks back, is during that process.
And then, kind of piggyback on that too. It's always it's always good to kind of eyeball your mikong and say, can I pass it back? Because some of them is like it's a blessing, right? Like more blessing to God. Why you passing it back to your buddy, right? So there's a few that you're required to drink, and then the ones that are just typical round those you can always pass it back.
Yeah.
So it's always good to check with your mikong.
So basically, your wife's brothers, blood brothers, you can't pass.
Yeah.
Cousins and all that you can't. Parents of the bride side. So the end of the wedding ceremony, so the parents, you don't time you so after when the bride and the groom leaves, this is from the bride side. When you see your daughter and your son-in-law leaves and everything's all done, You as Nyatayatzi, the parents will set up a table with food, and anyone wants to think that you want to thank them with and they're going to do or chơi là hay là tiền mấy công tiền cho or nhiều thì nó đâu hơn nữa. And then you more nearly nó the to mấy công chỉ more ít bùa chỉ từ tam bùa one side of the ribs of the pig or is it two?
Two in pairs because the boch lost, so they always give it like in funerals. In Hong Kong is more than one rib together as a portion. They call it the moon jay because chia cái từ chia như cái Hong Kong maybe or có cho you một more. Mình so they call it the jay. I mean, do a lot of the jays. To add on to that, so some people wonder why you have to pay the Mekong twice, but nhiều sự mà giờ你知道乌摩有啊，也有很多嘅那个你知道喏，或者阿摩，或者我都没讲啥了呀，别人是从我那个阿查罗都没公司，他讲了点我做嘛，有的阿摩一人难得一个，same thing as the number. You guys have it as written as yan yaw, but then at the same time, cái tiếng more yan yaw vấn đề là chọn đúng, but then tổng cái là để cái đó để cái gì. And that's why you see a lot of times we got there that I'm not going to you that the chio that can make like more a lot of other
The battery died too on the mics.
Oh.
Yeah.
You might go, yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're going to keep going here.
Yeah, keep going. It's charging.
All right. So the parents of the groom, Yanzi, got to do Yumbali lots of after the wedding, and your son and your daughter-in-law comes back home. The bride and the groom arrives back to your house. They eat outside. Then they're gonna have to come through the front house. As parents for your son, when they come back, you will set up a meal, a table, the same way as how the grooms would do as well. And then come on, go to make công the pila nhà tay chúa là giọt sụt đông, để con mùng thiếu tụi lò thiết là tiệm make công. At that part, it really depends. You to lao la hay you might learn yet see you want to know the type. To make công will basically just inform you how the wedding went. Was there any disagreement or anything, or how well did the wedding go? How much was given to the bride, all the gifts and all that money, stuff like that. Messages from Yatayotzilo to pass on to the groom's side. Usually you get a whole list of all the relatives that gives you presents and gifts. Then you basically do the same thing. Payments to mấy công thì ít bò thì họ tu đã bò yap yap kinh nghiệm thì lấy mấy công lấy yap pila ít bò người ta enjoy it really depends. Người ta enjoy I've seen $40, $60, $80 before. Just really, I mean, there's no like an exact amount. Nên để show you money trả thì mua đồ thì người ta enjoy thì người ta chung có it's pretty optional as well.
Feedback. Yeah. So with the 40, you know, the see or the see how you got the low battle you choose on yeah. But then as school the name kusama everybody gets the same amount. Yeah. It shouldn't matter because so you have to value everyone the same. They still went with you on the trip, they still watched over the bride and came home with your bride, so everyone's value should be the same. And then with the tambo mà lấy một tuần chạy và thếแต่mà giờ để chỉ tao u lấy rất xa chạy lấy tiền bạc tao ý là
itu ta on top of Game Boy le mo yong ne tai si ka cha mo which is Game Boy Doctor. It has a bit of tail with it, but it could be either side, right or left. They usually leave a couple rib sections for you, and then if the family knows a little more what they're doing, they might actually leave you enough ribs to give to everyone. So, các tổ chức và tổ chức cái để mình không nói các tên ba tổ coi cho theo lời mỗi họ cho nó có thể everybody gets on one ba together, so you get more if the family gave more.
Yep, and then nếu có nhà tay chúa na, thọ là you là dừng lỡ, no, you là tiệt lỡ sổ trong na, tụi nhà tay chúa na doesn't have to be the cousin or the girl cousin that went with the wife. You mới tu chính nên, or you mới tu tu là bảo nó phải chơi, but then that will still go for her basically. Còn nếu họ lúc chờ lỡ for thọ là tiệt.
So on your KWO chart, you can kind of jot something that you learned on the L part. Then when you're done, you can put one or two things that you learned and put on the L by the door. And we'll take about 2 minutes to do this.
Because you don't get to say the words. So I feel like when the dictionaries of their home, there's not enough words that make sense to say that.
I mean, we took honestly 4 hours cleaning that up. This is kind of hard.
So just a quick chat. What did you guys circle or put on here that does not belong in the code? What were the 2 things that was not supposed to be in the code? Yeah, umbrella and the blanket. Yeah. So you got those 2 that you're right. Okay, those 2, we're trying to throw you guys off from now on. Alright, so you can still. So you can still put your sticky notepads on the door. But we're going to kind of just move on a little bit. So what's something that you learned today? So we kind of do a share out. Anybody want to share what's something that they learned new today? No? Okay. Going once? Going twice?
I like the diagram. That was really helpful.
Okay. Anyone else? I'm going to read 2 from here. So, one thing that someone learned is that they have to trust their make own, and if you don't, then you become all the jokes. What's the point? Okay, good. There's stuff in the code, yeah. So before I learned all these, I was really confused on the code stuff too. And then I'm the type of person where I ask too much questions, right? I'm like, what's this? Kind of like before, right? Nothing, no idea. Well, what's the reason for the code? What's the reason for the kai? What's the reason for the oil, right? So I ask a lot of those questions, and it's always different depending on and then someone learned is the different process from the bride side to the groom side. Yes, I agree with that too, because it's so confusing. Yeah, and then you can kind of pick out the common thing that goes on, but then it's always different. It throws you off all the time. What's another one? Payment to the helpers. Yes. So so those are considered like service fees or your appreciation. Okay. Yeah. So those are good things to know. Let's see. So I think we're running short. We're almost on time here. Any final questions or thoughts? Yeah. Let's go here first.
What's with the blanket?
Okay. What's with the blanket?
Thế ta mình trong cột tủ mà dùng ba này bà cho họ dùng nọ trong open mà lý tiền, so dùng chỉ là ngay bài tốt rồi một bên này tại gì, và chúng ta chơi một bên một bên nữa sẽ cái gì ngay bài tự nhiên tàu bỏ liền cái chuyện đó nó nọ rồi trong đó sẽ. And a lot of times thọ lấy lọc bò lấy chừng bò lấy bản chất này cái giờ lấy đồ tì về lấy hai ra ta thì lấy giờ để bản thế còn giờ để bản này thì mà là giờ là để lấy tất cả that they keep it, so the tì gets to keep it as his gift from the Mekons, and then when you come back, then you get the double carries a different blanket home. Nó mà chia ta chỉ chỉ bút này cả ta chỉ bút nàyว่าchỉ phải nó mà khó chỉ cho chia phần này cho nên mình không ăn thời mấy con mà những chỉ là dù chỉ read script thì mình bỏ lại nó tới thời những cho đã nó thế thì cái mỗi từ phần này từ vật gì thì mình đó nên mấy con tất cả nhiều hơn nhiều trâu là thế và họ mình chỉ hay được share thì con người giờ lại chỉ sao một lần rồi lại chỉ cả phần này lộn mấy con sự.
That's a good question. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on substituting alcohol with other drinks like tea? Because I seen we came across this Hmong wedding that the family only used tea to do all the traditional drinking.
That's perfectly fine. It's up to the family to decide that. I know that that process wasn't necessarily supposed to be it was supposed to be actually doying and tea, is the two things they kind of serve at the door. It wasn't necessarily alcohol, and alcohol it's also one of the commodities. If you look at some of the videos of the weddings they do nowadays in Thailand and Laos, they only use pop too, because not everyone can afford alcohol. So.
Any other questions?
So on the slides, you guys mentioned about chickens only, but how many pigs do we need?
So, in the process of they finally raised it up for the inflation. So it's finally up to 1,700. But the thing you end up always you totem boy than rồi là cái chăm mấy con cái chỉ đó ông nói chuyện chuyện tôi tung bao giờ and then con nhá side then you guys have to present the half pig with the tail along with the ribs mấy con, and then if you're going to give the other side of the ribs to them to take home as well, then that's already a whole pig, and then you got shoot them well or not, then pretty much 2 pigs. Some people, on top of that, they still do like the both too. That's like 3 pigs.
Yeah. So basically, you need the raw pigs for what the guy or not. So basically, the bride.
Right, it's like 2 to 3. The group size 1.
What do you guys do for same gender weddings?
Haven't encountered it yet. I did see on Facebook reel that
They did the guide for 2 females. I haven't seen the results of that yet, but I did see them do the guide for that on Facebook.
So like I said, we haven't seen it, but we've been in one wedding too where actually the daughter was transgender, so she wants to be a boy. So we just took that as okay. But I think we just follow the same. We have respect for the parents and whatever the children, because I think knowing you guys had a mental health assessment before. And then we're just with the mental health community and all the mental health awareness, we want to keep our kids happy. I know as parents we're really harsh, but if your kids decide to be a type of way where we have to respect that way, then we do it. Just the same fact of my previous wedding, right? So he has to, in our culture, he still had to do the same thing. So I think we just, generation-wise, we just try to make it better for the community. We're not going to be sexist anymore, no discriminating against others, and we want to have awareness for our kids and our children to make their choices and support them in their choices. So.
If you're going to answer that.
I was going to answer. I was going to kind of explain another scenario that I was into where the bride's side, but then the bride is now Christian and her husband is too. So when they came to do the wedding, I was living inside on the bride's side, but then on the groom's side, they didn't have any begongs, that they brought 2 youth pastors, and one of them was Mika, but he knew Hmong. So I don't know if you guys know Lee Seng, the guy that is on Facebook. He married a Hmong girl, and he speaks really fluent Hmong. He's a youth pastor. So he was the one that came to the wedding, and the daughter refused to let the groom bow, but then Lee Seng was like, yeah, it's fine, it's a cultural thing. He could bow, so then he allowed us to make the vow upon it, just some different culture stuff.
Hey, I had a question in regards to Talia, cái tin là cái mình chắc tôi the position đi how do people usually go and with the family hold the position?
Yeah, so usually cái gì thôi thì một thôi thì chỉ một tờ chế, nhưng một tờ chế và ít cái một gì. Does that answer your question?
Everything has tinsel that you have to kind of follow.
That's what I follow tinsel. So everything is all about. I need to at their house, even for Zanjo and Pila is the same way. You cất chỉ một bê là có từ nó một bê là này là gì hay là vô thọ là từ một đo nhiều bộ là một số có.
So piggyback off that question, who do you know how to ask? Like, I have a lot of cousins. Who can be my nuti? Who can be my numba? You know, like for my husband's side, like who could be his Zanjo? Can it be his friend? Could be anybody? Is there certain people you're supposed to ask? Are they supposed to be somehow related to you for them to be in that role?
Yeah, so
They usually prefer your first cousins. So your dad's first cousins, your mom's first cousins, their children would be asked to do those roles first. If you really don't have any first cousins, they might ask an outsider cousin that's same last name to do those roles. I think one of the reasons why is because so you think you bother you more. You to number you so là những một cái shiki sau phần tới đây im chỉ hơn number hơn tiếng gì nhỉ ngon nhau là được cho tôi hơn number
So that's the reason why you kind of want your actual first cousins, because you know that their love for you is genuine and not because they want to be your partner.
Yeah, so if you look on the bottom here, like B and C, those are like the numbers. So number could be like your dad's sister's son, right? So got to Paul to two, and then D is your dad's either Jiao or Jiao, to two. Okay, so that's what Kate was talking about, like keep it close, right?
So I have a question. So,
So knowing that statistically, right, that all marriages end up 50% divorce, right? How does that kind of tie to like not having the other side to come? So like the Nuti Numba, can like your brother do it too for that, or like how does that all kind of work out?
To get a divorce?
Or no, not a divorce. I'm saying how, let's say you're in a split family, right? And you don't, like let's say that, like for example, I could use myself as an example. I'm gonna go marry, but I'm not related, or I don't have any ties with my dad's side anymore. Like how would that kind of work out?
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah.
Whoever's gonna
Yeah.
It falls back on which parent still claims you. So if your dad and your mom divorce and one in then you don't have to be your dad's last name. You could and then you take under the new person's last name. That person's not liable or responsible for you in your wedding. Your dad no longer has any right to come back to get anything from your wedding.
So to kind of go off on that more too, why does the last name matter so much on who is marrying you?
Because of the politics of it. We always say that if you're from one clan, then you can't marry your own last name because those are the chosen kati in life for you. So then you can go marry anyone else of the 18 last names.
Thank you.
I also want to add to that because biblical law is all the same. Law, the path law. Things like cái tên mong chỉ cho bao giờ bây giờ cái tên mong path mong law. Since it's about the last name there too, is that mong path mong law she was stop mong law was stop mong path. So I just want to put that out there too. Is
and Monka too. Yeah, we have every last name kind of has their own taboo that you can't marry certain last names. Like Toku is one and two, you know, and Lo-Pha is the same. We're brother sister clans, and then Monka is just I'm not exactly sure if we're brother sister clans with them or if it's just a restriction that we're not going to marry each other to save ourselves for other last names.
Yeah, Hmong path and Hmong Lao goes back to a big kinky between all the same. The Atukati had Itukati Hmong path had Itukati Hmong Lao then Sinono did the family you can make them in so for that then it falls into that history too. So understanding your family history to also know the taboos is important when you get married or when you are looking for a spouse too. So that by the time you invest all that time into marrying someone, then you already know, everything is good. She wanted to walk down.
And it falls right back to the first question of what do you have to know before you marry your wife? Is their last name?
And then I want to add a little bit to what your question was too. Just with the politics and all the inconsistency of there's so many changes in the Hmong community. For example, if you have like your mom and dad divorce and you're with your mom, and then for example, your mom only, right? And then if they don't do the wedding for you, I've seen many cases where your mom will still help you. They want to make sure you get that wedding over with, depending on who you marry. And then it really doesn't matter because you can pull your best friend to be Pila. You can pull your cousin, your mom's side, or basically. Oh, sorry. Does that kind of answer the questions too?
Yeah.
If you really want to dig deep into the politics and make everything work flowly like how we should, Hmong Weddings, it's just too complicated. We want to make changes as well. When I saw up here, I see a lot of what can we change, and that's kind of what I want to do, is what can we change. And that's a big change too, is you don't need that proper people there all the time. If you got best friends, what do you call this? Sometimes friends are more than family, right? Sometimes your friends can actually help you fulfill a wedding to help you. So there's just a lot of changes.
So anybody can hold those 2 job roles from the dad side?
To make it easy, like to not make it harder, simple, yeah. I mean, you got chimo cái tí tiền là, hoặc cái cái nhà là cái gì là tí tụ tài, so cái chimo là no cousins. Yeah, I mean, there's ways to go around it where we will make it work.
So it's kind of a perfect segue into the reason why we're here today, which is Lo-Pha Society, right? That's exactly what Lo-Pha Society is here for. That's why this thing is so important, because like, you could call upon them to come do your roles for you like that.
And I want to add on, kind of like off-tangent comment, but it's really important who you have at your wedding, because like later in life, those people that are at your wedding, they are going to be the people that's going to come back, and they're going to be the people that they're going to call upon to kind of come back and help fix your marriage. Like your nutinumba, if let's say your husband hits you and you're not happy and you run off, your nutinumba is the one that's either going to protect you or they're going to force you back. Like if let's say you cheat on your husband and you run off, your nutinumba is the one that's going to also be the one that's going to be there to either, or like trying to work it out. Your mate going at the same time, same deal too. Like if it comes down to it, at the end of the day, like the mate going, you might think you're done, but then they might be like, okay, we need to find those mate going from way back then to come back and figure this out, to come back and kind of re-talk the situation. So it's also really important who you have at those. That's why, like, going back to God's question, like, it's important. If you're at the end of the day, if your dad wants to be reliable for you, all your issues then further in life goes back to your dad. If your mom wants to be responsible for you, and later in life, all your issues go back to your mom and your new dad. So that's kind of where the roles also kind of come in play as well too.
Yeah, that's why we want the younger generation to keep Hmong Kitaya. So lúc từ nếu mua nên có từ bao nhiêu lúc có hay có nhà có gì gần đồ nữa, lúc từ có lúc có từ bao nhiêu thì tại chính đồ có, rồi đầu tiên đồ nông bần đồ cả. But it's so hard to get the young guys into our generation, into our culture again, because I see a lot of, yeah, we did the Hmong wedding, but yeah, you hit me, I'm not gonna call my mom, I'm calling the police. So there a lot of people don't follow the Hmong tradition and culture anymore. It's the American laws, it's the rules, it's domestic abuse. It's, hey, I married you, sure, we did our Hmong wedding, blah, blah, blah. But when we go live in our life now, it's like, well, I'm not going to use my nuti anymore, because we spoke it, right? So that's why we want to keep teaching and learning to I mean, it's both sides of the families. We love each other. We should be there for each other when we are doing weddings. But it's never the same. We grew up in America too, and we have the American laws. But we don't want to see our culture die and our tradition. So that's kind of why, like King and Oyi said, we decided Lo-Pha Society is here to kind of keep that growing.
Yeah, and I always tell people, they always ask me, because I practice a lot of Kejai, they wonder why we can't make certain changes, and I keep telling everybody, take it into your the initiative within yourself to go learn as well. Learn everything so you know why we do things a certain way, and then change it from there. Don't do the cancel culture route, which is that doesn't fit our narrative, so we're gonna X you out. That means that we can't live with one another in society. We can't coexist if you do it that route. But if you take it and learn everything, know why we do everything, and change things for the better, that's the only way we can move forward.
Lo-Pha, I think he had a comment earlier. Kata.
Oh, I was just gonna say earlier that I think some of your. I was just gonna add earlier that I think some of the comments that you guys are having about the reason why it's important that we learn some of this stuff and the rationale on why some of these people matter at the table. The whole premise of the individuals, for example, if you're the lady and you're going off and then your parents are doing the wedding at their house, right? Right? Those people are the ones who are supposed to come and take care of you. They're supposed to come and care about you. They're supposed to come and watch you start your life, right? So who are those people? It's supposed to be your uncle. It's supposed to be one of your mom's brother. It's supposed to be your immediate brother. It's supposed to be your second cousin, right? Your mom's kids. Those, in theory, are supposed to be the people that are the ones that support you the most and supposed to watch you start your life. Now, I know that the reason why I think learning this is important is because in order for us to change it, we have to learn the reason why. But of course, we live here, we're multifaceted families. We don't have that traditional family anymore. So how do we change it? Unless we know the rationale, right? So that means, like to your question earlier, why is it that I have to ask my older brother, right? If I'm the girl going, why is it that my older brother comes? Maybe that's the thing that us younger generations, we can change. I don't have an older brother anymore. Maybe I can pull my best friend in, right? Those are things that we have to challenge the narrative and force the change. Because if we don't force it, we don't understand, then we can't change it. So I think classes like this is important for us to start going down that path.
Alright, so before we want to close out, what's something we can do better for next time? We're going to host another one like this. How can we make it better? What can we add? For you guys.
Role play.
That was part of the that was the plan. Like we did a demonstration upon depending champion so that was what we're gonna do. We were gonna pull law and then have people do role play and go like, okay, what's your role? What's the reason why you're here?
I think it'd be nice to do step by step. Like I know today was like the first one, right, that we have for Hmong wedding. It'd be nice to like for future ones to like break it down, like focus on like the bride side and focus on the groom side because there's a lot that goes on in between. Like the feast all part, like it might not seem like an important part, the look-I part, but then like the pre-wedding to the wedding to the after-wedding, it would be nice to kind of break this down because today was really very informative, but it was a lot of information. I'm pretty sure everybody in this room has a lot of questions that, our next one we could kind of break it down into, if you guys could break it down into little sections.
Yeah, I agree. It's like take 2-3 days, right? But it's like what exactly goes on in between? Like what's A through Z? He also wants to be more digital down. Maybe in the future we can break it down to multiple mini sessions and then have more hands-on experience.
And I think this was a really big challenge to navigate Hmong into Migana, to navigate the translation of the culture into English, and then make it into a workshop. This was actually really challenging for me and Ching, because we're so used to and you just say everything is all Hmong, and then when you have to translate it to an English version of make it make sense, make it simple, make it understandable was very, very tough for us. And I hope we did well, and I hope everything.
You guys did good.
We did okay with the King's help too.
He's just a prop. Don't worry about him.
A very tall prop.
Would you guys be willing to do, another workshop that's more like a role play for?
Yeah, Nya's gonna help do it for us.
I'm a silent supporter. I got you.
Now, you have any final words besides the survey? Make sure you do your surveys.
I'll say a couple of words. All right. First of all, I just want to say a huge thanks to our speakers, Cheng and Luke. For a month and a half ago, I threw this outline of Hmong Weddings to you guys, and you guys really took it off, and I can't say how happy I am to see this really unfold, and for you three to provide this valuable resource to everybody here, but everybody who's going to watch this online too. Hopefully people can find this as resourceful and as a thing that we need, so that we can do more of these in the future and provide this to the community. So huge thank you to everybody for participating in this. And then secondly, we have a lot of food over there. All that food came from a restaurant over in Brooklyn Park called Tan B. They're a Hmong-owned restaurant too. I like to try to support our own small business owners within the community as well. So definitely feel free to grab the card and grab the food from up there. And then everybody does have the surveys and the media consent forms. So when you guys are done and tired of looking at us here at Lo-Pha Society, just hand it over at the table and then pack some food too. That's all I got. Anything else that you guys want to add?
Just on behalf of me, King, and Shane, I want to thank Lo-Pha Society and your team as well, Nui, for your generosity and your gratefulness to Kaluto Hadutira, and for the food and hospitality, and for giving us a chance to just teach and give what we know as knowledgeable. But again, just thanking you, Nui, and your team for everything, and thank everyone for coming as well. And more we'll help you out.
Thank you. Để cũng có last question đó này, nên bây giờ vậy là nên tôi mới công đồ rồi nha. Giờ thì một giờ lùa rồi, giờ ít giờ là xã cử của mấy công, là xã báo đọc cho thằng gì thế giờ ít giờ lùa lại thì we interest của xã cử, đó là một chỉ bảo những bị khó từ, chỉ bảo những thứ là từ thế là chỉ bảo những cái rồi nha. Nên bảo more recommendation or resource cho giờ lùa và lấy một share thì của xã hội hiện đại của xã cử cái đó với tụi mấy công thế nên bảo mỗi khó resource đó chỉ được.
Good question. And on Facebook, there's a lot of program groups that so there's a lot of classes now that I notice pops up here and there. So you gotta be active and join the groups so that you would just food that you care for free, and then you would just food where you pay a little bit to kind of give them for their time. So I mean, I did join one of those, and then at least my school, we had a big old program, right? So I tell all my guy friends, but only like 2 showed up. So like that, the school pays for the seafood, and then it's like Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 7, right? So it works around your schedule. So look for programs like that. That's always around the community.
I also learned from one too. They did classes Sunday mornings, so I'm currently actually still in the class from 8 to 11, actually 9 to 11, learning some Tekai for Kasu right now. And then they had classes for CJ too, which is all the other stuff, learning how to hupli, how to toning, stuff like that. And then they have a third class for Mekong. They teach both sides of it too. Together. So if you guys ever want to learn, I can probably share the page.
Yeah, I'll collect their resources that they have, and then on the surveys, there's a spot for your emails. So leave your emails for me too, and whatever resources that they have, then I'll shoot that to everybody, and then I can also share the PowerPoint here to everybody as well, so you don't have to look at your phone pictures that you guys were taking.
And then for me, like just to backfill of King and Che, there's a lot of programs out there. But as for an individual person, and you're very passionate, for me, I learned it differently. I was big in YouTube. So 4 years I was self-taught. I didn't have a master. I learned from YouTube. So on the Hmong side, I have a master, but on the Hmong side, I don't have a master. So I think it's a driven personal skill. If you are really driven, you want to do this, and you love the culture, there's really a lot of sources out there. You can learn from master, or I'm not officially certified,
But if I can use my skills I learned on YouTube in a real actual Hmong wedding and it worked, I guess that's kind of how I did it. So.
是啊，爱当初好个呀，你就我没讲过呀。有只好point對嘅，有啲嘢係 certify 我到底 OK 的，上古我你做，聽古真做咧，古實位都師傅天來你學你 determine 看到啲，只好 point 你嘢，你啲 qualify 了位度嘅，依度師傅落去啊，然後有個多天來。
You know, I don't know. You guys, there's a perfect answer for it. But they go to seafood society and they đầu tư lớn tuổi là chỉ tôm nông con thì in a sense they took những cái seafood gì mà trong lớn này đó. So it doesn't have to be official. Need to cut out họ tươi need the community acknowledge that okay, yeah, he's knowledgeable in that area. Yeah, he là tuổi là chỉ tôm nông con sẽ chỉ tôm cháu cơ chỉ tôm cỡ because nó là you take cái gì seafood gì thế này. But a lot of it is community acknowledgement. Okay, believe that there's no certification and teach me cái này thì có cởi tía đây ít cho cái có hạt tàu ít phần người ra thì có những ship lậu này there's nothing like that. So thì liệu như của for example cứ cho mấy công áp dụng xứ nó là thì như từ trong hẹn thì cho lậu bốn nó to này thì chúng này được thì ôn cứ sợ thế thì không cần là những ô tô ship là thế này thì cứ chờ ô tô cầu xong đây cứ nhiều khó bếp bốt cứ trong xứ là có hại cũng chỉ khó phải ship này cũng chỉต้อง再找你啊。So you could be knowledgeable, but you're not skillful enough in the field.
And I think I've seen a lot of like programs where they hand out certification, right?
Everyone kind of gives you a certificate. It's more of like a graduation certificate.
Yeah, a graduation certificate that you graduated from a Mekong class. I don't know too far on how masters become masters.
Like I know when we did the graduation for Super Drum Long, they did take down our names and phone numbers and emails so they could put it onto Go Yising's list of Mekongs. So I think Go Yising has a list of Mekongs that they have for everyone that's been certified.
But there's really no test to say that you're yes or skill.
So you get probably the part that you all like on the you want to get the top of you
Yeah, who's your coach, right? Your team always wins.
Right.
Because some more to coach come on. So you got to see what take on, got to talk come on, the rotation, and go support the got to see the young people.
Và phần đó mà nó basic của bạn cái dài nữa. Có một cái đấy từ cứ là để cả hai cái để cái này này one của ship là họ để mà you play nó mà you chia cái thứ gì để you có dùng cái này của ship hoặc you có cái room basic của bạn có you or either life coach, someone who teaches you to be better overall. Then you can carry the name of the seafood.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.